Hello everyone, this is Mr. Undercottler. Today we're looking at the guide of notes called Discount and Markdowns. Alright, follow along with me here. A discount or markdown refers to the amount that an item's cost is decreased from its original price. The discount percent is always applied to the original price. And if you take a look over here, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. We're going to take 100% minus the percent of discount to get to the percent that we, as the customer, ends up paying. And then we're going to put that in decimal form and take it times the original price. This is why I said over here that the discount percent is always applied to the original price. It's never going to be multiplied to the final sales price to get back to the original. It's always multiplied to the original price to give us the final sale price. Let's look at some examples here, and I think you're going to find this to be very similar to the guided notes that we did on markups and sales tax, except a percent off is going to mean we're going to subtract away from 100%. So follow along with me here. Problem number one. A $30 sweatshirt is on sale for 20% off the listed price. Find the sale price. Okay, the original price is 100% of itself. So since it's 20% off, we can subtract by 20%, and that will give us 80% is what we pay as the customer, 80% of the original price. So let's set up our percent equation. Put 80% in decimal form, 0.80. Now, you could just call it 0.8 if you want, same thing, times the original price will give us the final sale price. By the way, the problem literally says, find the sale price. You have to look above the sale price. Sometimes we call it the final sale price, is over here on the left side of the equal sign. So let's go ahead and make that our variable because we're supposed to find the sale price. So that is the unknown, our variable. So if you weren't sure whether $30 was the original price or not, well, now we can confirm. If we're trying to find the final sale price, then $30 must have been the price before the percent was taken off. So there you go. Make that your original price. All right, since the variable we're solving for is by itself, we're going to go ahead and multiply 0.8 times 30 in your calculator, and you should get $24. I hope you're writing all of this down as I lead you through this. All right, problem number two. An online streaming music service normally costs $11.99 each month, but students can get a 55% discount. How much is the student price? Okay, discount is like having a percent off, so we're going to take 100% minus 55%, and I think a lot of you could probably do this mentally without using a calculator. That's going to give you 45% is what the students are going to end up paying of the normal cost. So let's go ahead and put that in decimal form, and it should be multiplied to the original price, and that will equal the sale price. Now, this problem doesn't use the words original price or even sale price, but if you use the context clues, normally it costs $11.99. So that's the normal original cost. The student price is actually what the top of the page is referring to as a sale price because the students are getting a discount. So their price is lower than the regular normal price. So theirs is the sale price. Now, you can think of S for sale price. You can think of S for the student price. If you want to choose P, whatever letters you want is totally fine with me, especially if your S's look like 5s. All right, 0.45 times $11.99. Use your calculator. And you're going to get more digits than what you actually need here. Hopefully you guys remember dollars and cents should have 2 digits to the right of the decimal point. And since the third digit is 5 or more, that rounds up the 9 to a 10. You'd carry the 1, making that 3 become a 4. So $5.40. You'll see I used the approximately equal to symbol, which I tend to use anytime I have to round my final answer, in this case to the nearest cent. All right, let's do one more together. This one's a little bit different. It's not because it says markdown. Follow along with me here. You'll see what I mean. After a 40% markdown, which is another word for discount or percent off, the shirt cost $16.79. What was the price before the markdown? All right, so this starts pretty normal. A percent markdown is like a percent off or a percent of discount. So start with 100%. The original price is 100% of itself. Minus 40%, we can probably all do this mentally. That's 60% is what the customer pays of the original price. And you'll put that in decimal form. If you want to just call it 6/10, 0.6, same thing as 60 hundredths. So the 0 to the right is not really necessary here. Times now. Got to be careful and make sure you know what you're asked to find. This problem said, what was the price before the markdown? Think about this. The price that happens before the markdown is the original price. And as the top of your page shows you, the original price is the part that is multiplied to the percent in decimal form. You'll never multiply the percent in decimal form to the sale price. You'll always multiply it to the original price, which we do not know what that is. Number 3 literally says, what was the price before the markdown? So, since that's our unknown, and that's supposed to be over here on the right-hand side, multiplied to the percent in decimal form, we're going to make that our variable. Now, I could have chose B, price before the markdown, but again, whatever letter you want is fine. Notice the first sentence, this 1679, that's the cost of the shirt after the markdown was applied. So unlike number 1 and 2, when we were never given what that cheaper price was, this time it's already given to us. That is the final sale price. So you have to read the words and interpret what you're given so you know, am I solving for the final sale price, or was I already given the final sale price, like on problem number 3 here? Okay, time to solve. Unlike number 1 and 2, this is an equation where the variable is not by itself. So we're going to have to do the inverse of multiplication to get that variable by itself. Of course, that would be division. You're writing it down on both sides, just like we do in algebra. In your calculator, do this part over here on the left, where there was no variable included, 16.79 divided by 0.6. And that should give you, again, more digits than what we need for dollars and cents. We only need 2 digits right at the decimal point. So we look at the third digit, and it's a 3. That's not big enough to round up. So it's going to stay $27.98. Okay, now that I've done numbers 1, 2, and 3 with you, let's have you try 4, 5, and 6, which are the 3 remaining problems on this first page. Try them on your own. Make sure you know what you're asked to find. Are you asked to find the final sale price? Are you asked to find the original price or the price before the sale had happened, like we did on here on number 3? Make sure you know what you're asked to find, so that way you know whether the variable is going to be over here on the left, like you would for the final sale price, or whether it's going to be on the right side if it's the price before the discount had occurred. So hit pause on the video, do 4, 5, and 6, and then when you're ready, hit play to see how you did. Okay, have you already done 4, 5, and 6? If not, you need to hit pause now. All right, because here we go. 25% off. That means we're paying 75%. We'll put that in decimal form. Double check. Make sure you didn't accidentally put it back to 25. Sometimes our brain just plays tricks on us like that. Make sure this is indeed 0.75. Now, it needs to be multiplied to the original price, even if the original price is unknown. But this time, the original price is known. The price tag is the original price. They're literally asking you for the final price. That's like saying the final sale price, which will go over here. So the price tag is the original price. Boom. There you go. This is how you should have set it up. All right, using your calculator, multiply, round to the nearest cent, $34.46. And you can use any variable you want over here. I keep saying that. Problem number 5. The final price for a pair of sneakers after 10% discount was $71.06. Did you catch that? They're already giving you the price, the final price that was after the discount. So spoiler alert, that's the number that's to the left of the equal sign. This is kind of like problem number 3, just different wording here. but it's still a 10% discount. So you're still going to subtract from 100% because the original price is 100% of itself. That means the customer pays 90% of the original price. So put that in decimal form. If you don't want to keep the zero to the right of it, it's fine. Times, well, we don't know the original price. In fact, it literally says what was the original price. So this is a situation, again, like I already said, kind of like number 3, where we're solving for the original price. They already gave us the final price after the discount. Okay, let's solve. Inverse multiplication is division. And once again, you're going to have to round to the nearest cent. This time, it does round up because the third digit is 5 or more. So that makes the 5 for the hundredths place value round up to 6, $78.96. And finally, problem number 6. 75% off. That's a huge percentage off, but that sometimes happens on clearance sales. So you are going to only pay, the customer is only going to pay 25% of the original cost. Now, double check. Did you put 0.25 here? Hopefully you didn't put 0.75. Again, our brain sometimes plays tricks on us like that. 0.25 times the normal cost. The normal cost is the original cost. That is going to be equal to the unknown sale price. Again, you can pick any letter you want. Calculator time. This time we don't have to round at all. It is exactly to the hundredths, which is what we need for the cents of dollars and cents. There you go, $8.75. Okay, turning the page. Do you know there's actually some situations in real life that have 2 discounts? Follow along with me here. This can happen when there's a discount on an item, and then there's an additional discount. Now, additional doesn't mean add. Additional just means another one. An additional discount due to some other reason. And we're going to talk about what those reasons might be. Each discount must be done separately. This is huge, ladies and gentlemen. It is not the same as one big discount, the 2 discounts added together. So please do not think the word additional means you're going to add the 2 discounts together. No. They must be done separately. So the first discount, you'll subtract away from 100%. The second discount, you will still subtract away from 100%. You treat them as 2 separate discounts. You'll take those percentages that you pay separately, each of them putting them into decimal form, and multiply it to the original price. That will give you the final sale price. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at problem number 7. Pencils ready. A store is having a 20% off sale on all TVs. However, if you sign up for the store's credit card, you get an additional 10% off at the register. If a TV's listed price is $489.99 and you sign up for the credit card, what will be the final sale price of the TV? So this is an example in real life where you can have more than one discount. There's the one that was advertised as the 20% off sale, but then you get this extra discount of 10% off if you sign up for the store credit card. So let's do each of these percentages separately. 100% minus 20% means 80% is what you pay as the customer. But if you also sign up for the store credit card, as you can see right here, then it's going to be 100% minus 10%, meaning you will pay 90% of the original sale price that comes off from the 20% off. Let's do each of these percentages in decimal form. So 0.80 for 80% times 0.90 for 90%. And again, if you just want to call it 0.8 and 0.9, that is fine. Times the original normal price of the TV. And those, all being multiplied together, will end up equaling the final sale price. All right, go ahead and type this into your calculator. I trust you've been writing all of this down. This is going to give you more digits than we need, round to the nearest cent, $352.79. Okay, problem number 8. Let's have you try this one on your own. So hit pause in the video, do number 8 on your own, and I would like for you to also do problem number 9. So let's have you do 8 and 9. Hit pause right now, do those two problems, and then hit play once you're ready to see how you did. Okay, have you already done problems 8 and 9? If not, hit pause now. We have 15% off for the first discount, which means we're paying 85%. But then we're getting an extra 5% off for military veterans. And as you read this problem, you saw this was a military veteran. So an additional 5% off. Now, again, we treat that separate, 95%. We're going to take both of those percentages, put them in decimal form, and then multiply it to the original regular price of the painting, which was $77.99. This is going to equal the final sale price. Using your calculator, you got 62.976, yada, yada, yada. Round it to the nearest cent, $62.98. Problem number 9. Paul thinks that problem number 7, if you remember, problem number 7 was the first double discount problem that we did together. Well, Paul thinks that that problem could be done quicker. Thinking that 20% off and 10% off is equal to 30% off. Did you show the work in this space over here on the right to show that Paul is wrong? Remember, problem number 7's original price was $489.99. Well, doing it Paul's way, thinking it's 30% off, Paul then thinks that you're just paying 70% of the original price. So if you put that in decimal form and multiply it times $489.99, do we get the same answer doing it this way that we did when we did number 7, the way that I taught you? Well, this is going to give you, when you round to the nearest cent, $342.99. That is not the same thing as what we got from number 7's work. Number 7's work, we got $352.79, almost $10 more. So, let me be honest. I wish Paul was correct. I wish the 20% off and an additional 10% off was equal to 30% off. Man, that would be nice. Because then we'd be paying $10 less than what we're actually going to have to pay. But that's not the way it works. And if you're wondering why, it's because in real life, 20% off is taken off first. 10% off is 10% off the sale price from the 20%. So that's not the same as 10% off the original price. And that's why you can't treat this as 30% off. You have to do it separately, like I've been teaching you here back when we did number 7 together. Okay, now that we've done that, let's talk about the last scenario we're going to talk about here in these guided notes, and that is when you have discount and sales tax involved. This is a very normal thing in real life. Now, what I need to remind you about is that with sales tax, it increases the price. So careful, discount, you subtract from 100%, but sales tax, also markup, you would add to 100%. So please make sure you know when to subtract and when to add. And then just like we were doing on problems 7, 8, and 9, we're going to treat these two percentages separately, putting them each in decimal form, then times the original price to equal the final price. Let's do a problem together. Problem number 10. Find the final price of a coffee maker whose regular price is $59.99 after a 15% discount and 5.5% sales tax. Okay. Do you know where you're going to subtract and where you're going to add? Discounts, that is taken away. So we're paying 15% less than what we normally would. And that means we're going to pay 85% of the regular price. But with sales tax, that increases it. Start again at 100%. Add by the percent of sales tax. You're going to pay 105.5%. Here we go with our equation. 85% is 85 hundredths, because percent means out of 100. 105.5%, please do not keep it the way it is. Just because there's a decimal there doesn't mean it's already in decimal form. You must move that decimal point 2 places to the left. So 1.055, and then times the regular price of $59.99. That's going to give us the final price. Now, I called it S because I'm kind of used to calling it the final sale price. You can call it F if you would like to. You can call it P. I really don't care what variable you pick. So here we go. Multiply this into your calculator, and you will get, again, we have to round to the nearest cent, $53.80, because the 6 rounds up the 9 to a 10. You carry the 1. You guys know how it works by now, and that's why it's $53.80. So yeah, it was a sale price. It's still cheaper than what it would have been. All right. Now that we've done number 10 together, why don't we have you try 11 on your own? And I would love for you to also try number 12, part A and part B, also on your own. So hit pause of the video, do 11 and 12 on your own, and when you're done with them both, then hit play to see how you did. Okay, have you already done number 11 and parts A and B of number 12? Because if not, you better hit pause now. All right, let's check your work. Problem number 11, 25% off, taken off. So did you subtract? 75% is what you end up paying. But sales tax increases the price. That means you're going to be paying 106.25% of the discounted price. 75% is 0.75. 106.25% is 1.0625 times the advertised price of the concert tickets, $110. That's really expensive, by the way. Anyway, this is going to give us our final sale price, and that was, when you round to the nearest cent, $87.66. Problem number 12. Dean's getting this movie theater style popcorn machine, which is pretty cool if you've ever seen them. 20% off the retail price, but he's also going to get 5% off if he signs up for the email list. And if you read part A, yes, he is signing up for the email list. Not that I normally like getting emails like that kind of stuff, but Dean's going to do it. So 20% off means he's paying 80%. And another 5% off means he's paying 95% of the original 80% price. Put them each in decimal form and multiply times the original price. And you will get, when you round to the nearest cent, $113.99. Part B. If Dean also must pay 6% sales tax, what is the final price? Now, we're going to use Part A, discounted price. So 6% means you're paying 106%. When it's sales tax, it increases the price. So take 1.06 times the price that we got from Part A, like we were told to do here. And that means Dean's going to pay, again, we have to round to the nearest cent, $120.83. And that concludes our guided notes on discount and markdowns. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.